My dad wasn't a CEO or a tycoon. He was a mechanic. He left me his small repair shop when he passed away, and to me, it was more valuable than any skyscraper in the city. This place wasn't huge. It wasn't fancy, but it had fed our family for 25 years. It was built on sweat, grease, and trust. I grew up in that shop, sweeping floors, learning every wrench and screwdriver, memorizing the names and stories of every customer. It was more than a business. It was my father's legacy, a piece of his heart he left for me. When I got engaged to Lena, I thought she understood that. At first, she seemed so supportive. She'd call the shop cute and say how proud she was that I owned my own business. But cute turned into something else entirely, and it happened fast. One evening, as we were planning our future, she casually dropped a bombshell. "So," she said, swirling her wine, "when are you putting my name on the business papers? You know, since we're getting married, half of everything should technically be mine." I just stared at her, completely shocked. We hadn't even had a serious conversation about our finances yet, and here she was, staking a claim on my father's life's work. I tried to stay calm and explained, "Lena, my father's business stays in my family name. That's not up for discussion. It's my inheritance." The smile she always wore just ... vanished. It was like a switch had been flipped. From that night on, the pressure was relentless. It became a weekly topic, a constant source of tension. She'd tell me how her friends' husbands had joint accounts for everything, how they shared all their assets without a second thought. She started accusing me of not trusting her, of planning to abandon her down the line if she didn't have a legal stake in the business. It was emotional blackmail, pure and simple. Then came the final move, the ultimatum. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you truly love me, you'll put my name on those papers. If you don't, then I don't think we should get married." Her words hung in the air, cold and calculated. That's when every alarm bell in my head started ringing. It wasn't about love or partnership anymore. Something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. Why was she so obsessed with this one thing? It wasn't just about security. It felt like a demand, a conquest. My gut was screaming at me. I hated the thought of it. It felt like a total violation of trust, but I had to know. So, that night, I checked her phone, and what I found made my heart drop into my stomach. It was a group chat with her friends. The messages were crystal clear. Lena had written, "Once I get the business papers signed, I'm set for life. Even if he divorces me later, I get half." Another friend replied, "Free money. Easiest plan ever." A third one added, "He's so smitten, he doesn't suspect a thing." I felt sick. The woman I was planning to spend my life with, the woman I loved, was plotting to trap me financially. It was a calculated scheme. She wasn't building a future with me. She was building a safety net for herself at my expense. My first instinct was to explode, to confront her right then and there. But I took a deep breath. I needed more than just a screenshot. I needed a real plan to protect myself and my father's legacy. The first person I called was my lawyer. I explained everything, every conversation, every message. He listened patiently, and then we got to work. We drafted a prenuptial agreement. It was simple, direct, and ironclad. Point 1. My business, its assets, and all its income would remain 100% mine. Separate property, no matter what. Point 2. In the event of a separation, she would leave the marriage with only the assets she brought into it. Point 3. She would have no access to the company's finances, bank accounts, or decision-making. It was a shield for my family's history. 2 days later, I sat her down. I calmly placed the document on the coffee table between us. Her eyes scanned the title, Prenuptial Agreement, and her face twisted from confusion to pure rage. "What is this?" she shrieked. "After everything, you don't trust me." I kept my voice steady. "It's not about trust, Lena. If your intentions for this marriage are pure, and you're marrying me for me, then you'll have no problem signing it. She refused. Absolutely, vehemently refused. The calm facade shattered, and the real Lena came out. She screamed, she cried, she threw a cushion across the room. And then, in the heat of her tantrum, she said the quiet part out loud. I am not signing anything. I deserve half of that business. It's what I'm entitled to. And there it was. Not love, not a partnership. It was a business transaction for her. A plan for profit. I stood up, the last bit of love I had for her evaporating in that moment. I told her the engagement was over. I walked out and never looked back. But the story doesn't end there. About a month later, something strange happened. I got a text from one of her friends, one of the women from that group chat. Maybe she felt guilty, I don't know. She told me that Lena had tried the exact same scheme on another guy just before me, a man who owned a successful restaurant. He saw the red flags too and dumped her. Apparently, this was her pattern. Her reputation was in tatters. People in her circle knew what she was about, and she became a running joke. Meanwhile, my life moved forward. Free from the drama and the pressure, I poured all my energy back into the shop. Business is booming. I've hired 2 new mechanics. The old-timers, my dad's loyal customers, still come in. They pat me on the back and call me my father's son. They have no idea how much that means to me now. That whole ordeal taught me a painful but vital lesson. Some people will love you for who you are, and some people will only love you for what you have. The most important thing you can do is learn to tell the difference early. Protect what's yours, protect your heart, and trust your gut. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. See you in the next one.